You know, I never thought a simple flight from New York to Chicago could flip my entire world upside down. But there I was, Emily Thompson, a 40-year-old ad exec racing through JFK like my life depended on it. Alarm didn't go off. Cab got stuck in traffic. Security line felt like eternity, and by the time I boarded Horizon Airways Flight 412, I was fuming, ready to snap at anyone in my way. I hurried to first class, clutching my designer tote. And there he was, this sharp-dressed black guy in my window seat. 2A, sipping coffee like he owned the place, flipping through what looked like financial reports. I cleared my throat loud enough to turn heads. "Excuse me, you're in my seat," I said, not even glancing at his ticket, my voice sharper than I meant. But after that morning, I wasn't in the mood for politeness. He looked up calm as a summer lake. "I think this is mine," he replied evenly, pulling out his boarding pass. But I wasn't having it. My frustration boiled over from the day's chaos, from always feeling like I had to fight for what I'd earned as a woman in a cutthroat industry. And honestly, in that split second, some ugly assumption crept in, like he didn't quite fit the first-class vibe, you know? I waved over the flight attendant, Sarah, a perky young woman with a tight smile. "There's a mix-up, someone's in my spot," I insisted, thrusting my ticket forward while he handed his over quietly. Sarah frowned at both. "Looks like a double booking system glitch, ma'am. We have an aisle seat open in the same row." Before I could agree, he offered to move. But no, I dug in my heels. "I paid full fare for this window. I'm a Diamond member. I booked these for a reason," I said. And then, lowering my voice but not my edge, "No offense, but he can take the aisle. He doesn't exactly look like a regular up here anyway." The cabin went dead quiet. Phones out, recording, and his eyes hardened just a flicker, but he stayed composed. God, that made me matter somehow. Then the lead attendant, Mike, stepped in, his face lighting up in recognition. "Mr. Hale, apologies for the confusion," he said deferentially, and turned to me. "This is Marcus Hale, CEO and owner of Horizon Airways." My stomach dropped like we hit turbulence mid-takeoff. Words hung there, my face burning as I stared at his business card, elegant gold lettering confirming it all, surrounded by crew now apologizing to him, not me. I stammered something lame about a mistake, but inside, panic surged. I'd just insulted the boss on his own plane, and worse, it hit me that my snap judgment wasn't just rooty. It stemmed from this deep-seated bias I hadn't even admitted to myself, growing up in a sheltered suburb where diversity was just a buzzword at work lunches. As we switched seats, whispers rippled through the cabin, and by landing, that video was exploding online. First-class fail. Memes of my shocked face everywhere, clients bailing, my boss emailing about damage to our image. I holed up in my Chicago hotel, notifications pinging like accusations, scrolling through the hate, replaying my words, cringing at how I'd complimented a black colleague once on articulating so well, or assumed the janitor was the delivery guideline spots I'd wrapped in excuses, thinking I was progressive because I voted blue. But Marcus? He didn't lash out compartmentalized, like he'd faced this before, drawing from his family's legacy. His grandpa was a Buffalo Soldier pilot, breaking barriers in World War II only to face doors slammed shut back home, passing that resilience to Marcus's dad, a trailblazing airline captain in the 80s battling prejudice every flight. Marcus built Horizon from a failing carrier into a powerhouse, flying incognito to check service, which is what he was doing that day. Instead of fueling the fire, he emailed his PR head, Lena, prepping for fallout but choosing strategy over spite. "Anger burns the holder," his grandpa's words. Weeks later, after my career tanked fired essentially, relationships strained, I wrote him a raw letter, owning my crap, the privileges I'd ignored, committing to learn. Shockingly, he replied, inviting me to meet. Walking into Horizon's sleek Chicago HQ, nerves shredding me, Marcus shared his history over coffee, not accusing, but illuminating. "This isn't just about us, Emily. It's echoes of a system that questions where folks like me belong." I broke down, admitting my good person facade hid ugly truths, and he offered not judgment, but a role in his new inclusivity push training, partnerships with HBCUs, real change sparked by our clash. Skeptical at first, I dove in, confronting my mess through workshops, tough talks with friends like my coworker Tia, who called out my patterns bluntly. Months flew by. I consulted on the campaign, reshaping my life, even quitting my old gig for this path. Fast forward a year. We're on another flight, same route, side by side in first class, reviewing expansion plans for the program that's now industry gold. Employee morale up, customers raving. A seat mix-up erupts ahead, a woman echoing my old lines, and I step in, mediating with empathy I lacked before, upgrading them both, turning tension to laughs. Marcus grins, "You've come far." At a conference keynote, I share it all, flaws and growth, with him nodding from the front, our unlikely duo, proving transformation beats cancellation. But here's the rub. Was his grace too easy? Did I deserve that second shot? Or should consequences stick harder in a world quick to judge? What do you think? Type growth, if second chances matter, or accountability, if actions should define us forever. Share your stories below. Have you faced bias or caught your own? Hit like if this hit home, subscribe for more real talk tales, and let's chat because change starts with these conversations, right?